June 1st, LEGO released the Aston Martin Vantage safety car in AMR23, the second F1 speed champion set this year after the 2023 McLaren Formula 1 car in March. Last time that happened was 7 years ago with the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team and the Scuderia Ferrari SF16H. That lies in the past though. For today we want to focus on this new set, introducing 2 new cars to the ever-growing LEGO F1 collection. Unlike with the last Speed Champions Formula 1 set, this time we're not getting just a single F1 car, we also get one of many safety cars. While we have gotten some teams' cars before, we have never really had a safety car for Formula 1 and LEGO before. This will absolutely help some people build their own F1 grid, and I'm honestly just happy for whatever LEGO Formula 1 minifig scale stuff we get. Now smash that subscribe button like Stroll does the wall every second race, and let's get on to the hard numbers. As I mentioned, this set released about 1.5 months ago. Despite it releasing this year, it actually depicts the AMR23, which is Aston Martin's car from the 2023 season. It was the same thing with the McLaren car, being the 2023 variant, but as I said, I'll take any affordable F1 sets. Speaking of, this set retailed for a grand total of $45 US, 50 euros or 45 British pounds depending on where you live. It fits a typical double pack price with that and actually has a pretty good price to piece ratio with its 564 pieces. Included in that piece count are also the 2 figures this set comes with, which we'll look at first. The figure collection here consists of the drivers for each car, meaning the Formula 1 pilot and the safety car driver. Looking at this figure, it's actually not too bad. We are missing any kind of leg printing, which is sad, but okay, since this figure doesn't have to be that detailed, at least in my opinion. On the torso we have some lettering, so we absolutely don't forget which car he is meant to drive, which is quite funny to be honest, and on the back there's some more printing to flesh out his racing suit. The helmet is the standard white one with a completely clear visor, and beneath it we find a standard yellow face with glasses. Is it all that realistic to have a person with glasses underneath the helmet drive a Formula 1 safety car? I don't know, but I also don't think it's all that relevant in this situation. You can also take the helmet off if you like and give him his hairpiece. Why would you do that? I don't know, but at least you have the opportunity to do it. I am honestly disappointed with Aston Martin's pilot figure though. In my video about McLaren's F1 car, I already complained about the decline of the driver's suit, and it has gotten only worse from there. We are completely devoid of any leg printing, which would be much needed here, and the torso also leaves more than just a bit to be desired. There are only 3 sponsors smacked right in the middle of the suit, which isn't just inaccurate, it also just looks lazy since it doesn't interact with any other part of the suit at all. The back is pretty much the exact same, and then I immediately also want to address something that I'll mention when talking about the cars in a minute as well. The suit's color is wrong. Here it's a normal green, but the actual Aston Martin suits linger more between a dark green and a turquoise. I get that such a dark turquoise is a very uncommon color for LEGO, but they could have at least gone with a dark green. The helmet has a small Aston Martin logo on the front, and underneath there's a female head. I guess you could complain about it not resembling either Fernando or Lance, but it's meant to be generic, and honestly, I have way worse issues with this figure. And again, if you want to, you can take off the helmet and equip her with her as well. Now though that we've gotten both figures covered, I think we should move on to the main reason people bought the set: the builds. So here we have both the builds, and there's a very obvious flaw with both of these that I also just mentioned with the F1 pilot, that being the color. Like the race suits, these cars should be more of a dark green or dark turquoise. The regular green is almost closer to Kicks colors. It's such an obvious misstep that I don't know why they messed it up so bad. I want to get it out of the way first so I don't have to address it for each car, but now I'd say we start with the AMR23. As I previously mentioned, this is Aston Martin's 2023 car and therefore is built very similar to McLaren's F1 car from March. In terms of size, this set is 19 cm long, 7 cm wide and has a height of just about 4 cm. Now, this isn't entirely correct to minifig scale. If that was the case, it would have to be shrunken quite significantly to 12 cm in length, 5 cm in width and 2 cm in height. But in the end, it's LEGO, so those are just the conditions we have to live with. Looking at the car directly now though, I'd say we start with the front wing. It's a pretty sturdy build and they managed to get the shape down pretty accurately. I don't know why, but it just feels a little too massive to me, but I really can't put my finger on it and it's probably just a personal thing. On the front wing we have stickers of a few different Aston Martin sponsors. It's all stickers by the way, there's like a million in the set. There are also some on the outside, but the nose is actually a printed piece. My biggest complaint about the last Formula 1 car was the poor printing quality on the nose, but here it just looks really good. There's a plethora of sponsors on here and it's even further accented by the use of stickers on either side of the piece. The side of the car gives us a good look at all the building techniques used to achieve the unique shape of an F1 car. LEGO utilized rounded off slope pieces in snot form to have a flat surface on every side, also allowing them to slap more stickers on it, even though some of them, especially down here, look a little odd with the discontinuous black and yellow. But it's inarguable how much it helps with the look of the car. The other side looks exactly the same by the way, which is why I want to look at the back part next. The back is built by lodging a skier between these 2 slope pieces. It's quite an unorthodox building method, but I honestly really dig it. The vents to each side are a nice addition as well, of course being stickers, but that's still better than a lack of such detail. On the very back we have the spoiler, decorated with a lot of sponsors and also the only part of the build that significantly differs from McLaren's F1 car. This one is more massive than the last one, but they didn't forget the signature light below the spoiler on the back. Lastly, before we look at the tires, we obviously can't forget the cockpit. Around it we have the halo, which is built by bending one of the elastic tubes around the driver's seat. As side view mirrors, LEGO once again uses the spoon pieces that work brilliantly in my opinion, and if we now want to get the pilot into the cockpit actually, we have to first lift up the halo. This also reveals the printed controller piece, uses a steering wheel, behind which we can place the driver. This figure fits in without any issues, after which you can simply put the halo back down. Now it's time to look at the wheels. They feature Aston Martin's pattern inside of the tires, which also look fantastic with the yellow striped rims. They are fairly smooth, matching the medium tires that bear the yellow stripes in real life. And yes, this time I specifically looked up what tires these are, because last time I called them soft tires and y'all guys didn't hesitate to let me know my mistake. So, medium tires to top of this overall quite nice build. Up next is the safety car, which of course isn't as detailed as the Formula 1 car, but it's still a really nice model. Now, there were no official measurements for this set, so I actually had to do it myself. This car measures 16 cm in length, 7 cm in width, and a total of 5 cm in height. I don't buy a lot of Speed Champion sets, but I always appreciate how great they are for minifigures, even if sometimes they may not be totally correctly scaled. The front shows the low floor very well, which again utilizes not building techniques to have a somewhat smooth part on top and an actually steady side on the bottom. This continues on the sides as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. I quite like the look of it, but above it is something I find rather odd. We are missing the grille. The actual car has a very prominent grille, but this one is missing it entirely. At least it's shaped very uniquely, and the lights are actually printed pieces. Another one of my problems with the front is how easily this lower part comes off. All I have to do is press down a little and it breaks off. You can put this back very easily, but it's annoying nonetheless. When we look at the sides, we immediately see that we are missing doors. This is normal for Speed Champions cars, and down here we also see the snot pieces I just mentioned. The stickers add some extra detail, and on the top we already see the windshield, but we'll get to that in the end. On the back, LEGO used a bunch of different building techniques to get the unique shape of the lights, and the Aston Martin logo here is also printed. The exhausts are binocular pieces by the way, which are flipped around and connected to these bottom lights. The spoiler up here looks pretty neat, having a sticker on each side to bring some yellow into the mix, as well as to add some detail. Now, to get to the windshield and the interior, the actual windshield is a molded piece, specifically made for Speed Champions that appeared on a bunch of other sets as well. The printing on it is honestly flawless. It has been a problem that occurred on previous models, but here it matches all colors, so no complaining. In front of it there's another sticker piece declaring it the safety car again, and to the sides we also have these side view mirrors. So now we can take off the windshield to get a view into the very sleek interior, giving space for two figures. Inside there are also a few stickered pieces, and you can put the windshield back on without interfering with any of the figures. And now that we've got the builds completely covered, let's move into the final verdict. Now, I quite like the set, but it does have its obvious flaws. I love that we have finally gotten not just one, but two new additions to LEGO's One collection. Aston Martin has become a staple in Formula 1 over the past few years, so it's very nice to finally get their car as well. I can't lie though about the obvious issues this set has, be it the lackluster figures, the wrong color, or just the insane number of stickers. Combined with the price of $50, I think the set deserves a rating of 70%. Brilliant builds, but just not enough to earn more. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video, still gotta see what I'll do next time, but until then, goodbye.